Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Big updates today ahead of the playoff bracket beginning on the Valorant World Championship site. Some big drama going down in the Brazilian scene, but also some rumours as to the potential Cloud9 roster for next season, with guards neT, another player, spotted playing with these guys over the last couple of days. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty we've got to dive into today. First of all, wanted to mention a brand new map that's arriving into the game. There's been some teasers about this, that there's a new map arriving, and it was actually mostly noticed in this Valorant clip that came out yesterday. No more hiding, Cypher and Deadlock peek behind the kingdom curtain is just the beginning or whatever. So we don't really know much about the map yet, what it's going to look like, what some of the images are, but we know that there is a new map coming again, and Cypher's taking a look at it right here. So there are a couple of options here for what direction they go down and what map that they remove in its place, which is one of the big talking points. There's been lots of discussion lately with Lotus coming in, of course Icebox has been gone, Breeze has been gone, all of this stuff happening. So yeah, through the portal they go. And the rumor has it that on August the 26th, the final day of Valorant Champions, that will be when the new map will be revealed. Apparently most, streamers playing on the new map for promotion. So I imagine that many of the players are going to see and play this map over the coming days and weeks. Probably the players that get eliminated from the tourney will have a chance to go and do so, and some streamers as well. So we'll see if it's any good, which I guess is kind of the key talking point here, because when it does come in, it will replace one map or another. And this is the thing that in other esports, if a new map comes in and it isn't very good, it won't usually get put into the rotation until it's had some tweaks to make it better. Whereas in Valorant, it's almost guaranteed that the new map that they bring in, even if it's terrible, will be in the rotation somewhere. So that's now been the question, which map to get rid of, because when the new map comes in, something's got to go. And is that going to be Ascent, right? Do they need a rework on that? Should Lotus go immediately? What about Fracture? To be honest, I'm kind of agreeing with Durka here. Like, I'm still not a big fan of Pearl personally, and Durka says, well, he pretty much says that he's fully serious, or maybe he's not fully serious. I don't know. But some teams like Pearl, some teams don't like Pearl. I'm still not a big fan of it personally. So Durka says get rid of Pearl. He's also been very much on the train of bringing back Icebox, and I get it, right? Fnatic got unreal at that map, as was Durka, and maybe Ye would say, oh yeah, bring back Icebox as well, because certainly was good at that map as well. So we'll see. I know that Icebox wasn't particularly well liked, and I understand it, but that's been gone. Breeze has been gone. I imagine they're working on reworks for that. But then there's new maps coming in, so it's good to have a big map pool of, maps that they can choose from, but some maps, I'm sure some players would say, look, get rid of it, and I never want to see this map ever again in my life, to be honest. Now, let's talk about some drama in the Brazilian scene. Loud have, by numbers, pretty much carried the Valorant World Championship so far. They have had the highest viewership for the series. I mean, that Loud Navi series was just so insane that I don't blame it for having the highest kind of peak viewers, let's say. But the Brazilian scene has been getting into some controversy lately, pretty much based on what Fury player QCK had to say on the way their region is run. Now, the translation here isn't perfect. So I'll just bring up this translation here, which is a little bit better, which is was put on the Reddit here. But effectively, this Fury player was saying that in Brazil, all that the teams tend to do is recycle the old talent and not give chances to the newer, younger players. And it's an interesting observation. I'll go through the quote and then we'll discuss whether it's true or not. Everyone is bad. Like, few are really good here in Brazil, to be honest. The organizations are very stupid. I don't even blame the players. Any game will have its chosen players, but the organizations are very stupid. You have to invest in new people, the new kids, the younger kids. Call some more intelligent coaches, because it's not possible that these guys are stupid like that. They just set up a team with the same people and it keeps going wrong. Going on to say that you've got to be good, you've got to be clicking heads, liking you or not. The guys will have to call you into the team so good that you are, impossible to ignore, I suppose. In this dirty Valorant scenario, it's always just one guy sucking each other's balls, right? Kind of talking about how the guys are getting on teams. If you see in the tier 2, it's always the same teams, just change one player or another, and it's always the same guys. And this is an interesting observation, and quite obviously strong words here from this player, because I think he was frustrated that one of his friends, a player called Frances or something like that, anyway, I believe is Felipe, I forget exactly his surname, but a player that has been around the scene in Brazil for a little bit of time, hasn't got his chance to step up yet. And is that the teams just recycling the same talent? Now, you look at Loud, you look at players like Les and Aspas and these guys. Those are success stories, really, of players that have been plucked out of the the young guys in Brazil and were cracked out young guy players. players and really prove themselves to be top prospects and phenomenal players for the teams they have joined. And there's an argument to say that, okay, yeah, well done, like they've done a good job there, Loud. But will they do the same good job or the next step when it comes to getting the next iteration of players in? Because there's a lot of these guys around it, especially in Brazil, younger, really talented players. We talked a little while ago about this guy called Havoc, who apparently was stepping in for Aspas in the Loud team when Aspas, there was apparently this drama, right, where Aspas wasn't playing with them, and they got this Havoc guy in, kind of young Brazilian player, to trial into the roster while Aspas was refusing to play with them or was in LA, the rest of the team was in Brazil, whatever. Lots of guys in that situation, but maybe the Brazilian scene isn't really taking these guys as serious as they could. I'm not super familiar with how the scene operates in the Valorant side in Brazil to give too much of a comment on this one. I will say from my experience following Brazilian CSGO for years, there does seem to be a tendency here, right? I have a lot of respect for players like Fallen and players like Fur and some of the OG CS players in Brazil, but it did feel like a lot of them got maybe too many chances, or they'd keep recycling all this old talent, whereas there were probably better and younger options out there. And maybe that the same thing happens in Brazilian Valorant as well. That's the point. Now, GTN, who is ex-Vikings, now on the Red Canids, I'm guessing, says, pretty sure he included himself in this analysis because until today he has 0 official titles. So there was lots of backlash actually from some of the, older OG players or some of the coaches saying that this guy's talking straight BS, like this is not true at all. And it's unfair to say that it is, but I don't know, I think that he might be making a point from somewhere in reality here. And he says in reply, there are 2 things that actually matter to me: feedback from my team and my career. I don't care if other pro players are going to be mad or not. The only people I have to please are my teammates, and I believe I've always tried to do the best that I can. So he's playing for Furia, and yeah, it seems like a pretty solid enough player, but definitely be keeping an eye on his progress because there's seemingly some drama there brewing in Brazil, more than there already was. Now, speaking of potential roster changes, we've got to discuss this Cloud9 situation. The last couple of weeks we have seen plenty of players, some from M80, the likes of Koala Noob, and some from potentially the Guard, playing with Cloud9 in what we believe to be trials for their roster. They're obviously going to make changes. We don't know what those changes are going to entail, but last night it was spotted the Guard neT, right, very promising player from that team. Of course, they won Ascension, let's not forget, has been playing in the same lobby with MCE, coach of the Cloud9 team, and Cloud9 Jake, who we believe, based on this evidence, is going to be staying around. We think they're getting rid of Rooney. We don't exactly know what the rest of their team is going to be like, but yeah, we've seen plenty of players, and especially when you see players from the Guard, it's very interesting though, because the Guard, they've qualified for Ascension, well done. We don't know what their financial situation is. Do they have enough money to upgrade those players? Are they still going to be running like a skeleton crew for next season? To those players, let's say you're neT and you got an offer, or Trent, and you got an offer from Cloud9, more money. Would you take it? Would you leave your boys that you've qualified with and go elsewhere? Maybe you would. It's more money, better opportunity, better chance to win. Quite possibly that's the case. I'd love to see Guard stay together and see how they could do, but I think it's far from guaranteed to actually happen. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? neT potentially to Cloud9. That was, as I've said a few times here when we see these leaks, it's likely they're just trials, and you can never really tell whether it's going to stay the same. And I think the chances are, far less than 50% that this happens, but still, it's one to look at, and especially because you then get on Twitter here, we got Zelsis tweeting, neT then replies, hey Jordan, hey Michael, how are you doing today? So like a little interaction here on Twitter, which kind of says, oh, maybe they were playing a scrim there behind the scenes. So definitely intrigued your perspective on that one in the comment section below. And let's talk about Champions, because that is coming up tonight. Again, the matches begin. TenZ was giving his thoughts as well on this on stream and says that game against Loud, I mean, Fnatic is funny, really, because Loud are the reigning world champions, but Fnatic are such heavy favourites in that series. And, well, TenZ says that they should for sure win that one. He reckons there's a chance of an upset, and there is a chance that Fnatic don't win the event, but TenZ says that logic would dictate that Fnatic are going to win every single event this season, and it looks like that's the case. According to DFA Montero, who's done the analysis on this, based on, projections, and I'm guessing he does this on ELO rankings or just records of these teams previously, he has Fnatic winning in 61% of scenarios. So he reckons that there's, pretty much 2 out of 3 events. If you run it from now to the end, Fnatic will win, and they should make the finals almost 80% of the time. And then you've got Paper X are the most likely team to get second, or the most likely team to win, I suppose, at, outside of Fnatic, of course, 13.5%. Then DRX and EG, then Loud, then Edward Gaming, and then Foot and BLG have realistically not much chance, theoretically here, right? BLG, he's got them about, 1 in every 200 times you run this tournament. BLG LG win it, which, you know, even might be a little bit much. But still, that's what he reckons Fnatic is sitting at the moment, and it's definitely interesting to think about. And just to mention for you guys then, the games that have been going on today. So tonight there's 2 matches. I swear when I looked at this the other day, it told me this, and then I looked at something else and it told me that it was the other way around. But it does seem like it's been corrected back to what it originally was, that the first games are indeed the upper quarterfinals, with Fnatic Loud and then PaperX for esports going on tonight. I mean, PaperX should win the second series. The big one I'm looking forward to, obviously, is Fnatic Loud, just to see what Loud can do. Are Loud going to roll over and die? Are Fnatic just going to win this series 13-8, 13-6 or something and just completely blast through to the upper semis? Or are we going to see something interesting there, especially with some brewing controversy potentially going on in the Brazilian scene? So very much interested in your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
I think Fnatic are just favorites to win that matchup, but also just favorites to win the event. But I won't be surprised if I think there is a potential for an upset. I think it's small, but there is a chance. But then also there's a bigger chance that Fnatic's just going to sweep all the events this year. Oh my god, I suck.
My ult's ready.
Okay.